Colonel Samuel Smith Park at the Humber College Etobicoke campus in Toronto, Canada. This is the 2024 AFL Transatlantic Cup presented by Payable apps. We bring you Game 3, Day 1. In the women's division, it's a debut for both teams at international 18-a-side level. It is Colombia versus France. I'm Peter Holden. Thank you very much for joining us on our coverage via the AFL Canada YouTube channel. Joining me on commentary today, you know his voice from the United States Australian Football League and previously from the 2017 AFL International Cup in Melbourne. A very good afternoon to Brian Barish.
Good afternoon, Peter. Good afternoon, everyone. You know what? It's funny. These two teams familiar in women's soccer. They played last week in the Olympics. France won that game 3-2. Colombia, maybe a measure of revenge in a different kind of football here in Toronto.
As we wait for the first hooter to begin for this first quarter, we are playing 4 17.5-minute quarters with no time on unless there is a serious injury. I should note, though, for the Colombians, as one of their club sides, the Bogota Bulldogs, they played a USAFL Invitational team back in 2018, some 6 years ago, and they actually won that 9-a-side game. France have also played a number of 9-a-side tournaments in the AFL Euro Cups and also as well in the Anzac Cup. They play every year against an Australian invitational team. And we're underway. First kick of the contest being taken out there by Guterres. Immediately ran into heavy traffic. Umpire says taken way too high, and that's going to be a free kick. In fact, it's ending up in the hands of the French, and it looks like it's going to go with Jayan Iman.
And here they come the other way, off the hands, and ping-pongs around like a ping-pong ball, because that's what it does. Everybody converges on the footy. Going to be very interesting here to see how the skills go. I think France has a little bit more experience at the club level, and I guess in terms of years played, as we mentioned, the teams beginning with the Bogota Bulldogs in Colombia have been around since the 2018 season. Cleared out by Los Jaguares as that one bounces high up in the air. Grabbing that one is Lady Calderon as the ball goes to ground. It comes out to the near side. 3 red jumpers, but the yellow jumper wins out. Comes out to the near side. Going to be picked up by France. Little handball off the hands of Jarcel, sorry about that, as the ball gets popped up high in the air. Who wants it? Everybody. Who's got it? Off the hands. A lot of very broken play here in the early going, and now it's a rolling maul situation. Umpire Seth McAvaney crosses the arms like the Monsignor. Will have a ball up with a little more than a minute played.
And Decoux being wrapped up there for the French as the umpire throws the ball up in the air again. Just went through the legs there. Gracilla, who couldn't quite pick it up, going in there again to have a crack at it. Decoux went to ground. Umpire's blown the whistle. That is umpire Di Fineland, who's acting as a shadow umpire for one of the umpires who are a newbie to this tournament. He, of course, is an experienced umpire, many thousands of games in Melbourne across men's and women's football, and has given a resulting free kick to Colombia. We should say that the French won the toss and are kicking to the right of your screen, which is the Mississauga end. And, of course, you can go to visit Mississauga.ca to learn all about that magnificent city. Kicking to the left of screen will be the Colombia team going to the Toronto downtown end.
And that kick by Echeverry was intercepted, cut off at the pass, so they'll have the ball in the true center half back position for Les Gaulois as it comes out to the near side, going after it, and two players there for the French is just able to get that one. It's a worm-burning, finger-breaking, mongrel up-country punt. Don't mess that up or you'll get in trouble. Soccered on and out of bounds off the foot of Manon Yanin, and it is a lasso free kick. So if you're familiar with AFLW, we are playing the last touch out of bound rules. Normally that would be a boundary throw-in, and if it happens inside the 50-meter arcs, it will be, but it's a free kick to Colombia. The ball goes up high, going to bring some rain, and it is marked nicely. And here comes France back the other way, looking on the wing position now. Waits, still waiting, has about 4 leads. Now ski jump ball high in the air, drops in front, bounces away, and over and out of bounds boundary throw-in right in front of the There Live commentary position with myself and Peter Holden.
We'll wait for the ball to be thrown back into play. Men's competition, by the way, starts tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. local time. As we wait for the ball to be thrown in. The players are expecting the last touch rule, but it is a throw in because it was not a last touch out of bounds rule situation. So the Rucks will go at it here as the ball is spinning back into play, goes slightly to the left of the contest. Palacio had hands up there. Oh, Guterres with some tear. Puts it on the left boot. Now goes out towards the half-forward flank position as they attack towards the Toronto downtown end. Ball in heavy traffic, heavy congestion. Watching on there is Jarcel. Umpire blows the whistle, says free kick too high, and it's going the way there of the Colombian team. Going to end up in the hands of, it looks like it might be Benavides who has it. In fact, pardon me, it is Echeverri now goes with the football inside 50 with a kick. Couldn't find the intended target. Coming in there, Murillo to try and create the pressure. Murillo goes again. It's a 3-on-1. The French player dropped the football. The umpire said it was fair, though. Ball squeezed out. Still 45 metres out from the Colombian goal. Coming in to lay the tackles, Michon there for the French. Ball close towards the boundary line. Lake Ontario side of the ground, and they're going to try and sprint away with it with the lay.
It's a fast-paced beginning there. Ball hops up high in the air. Colombia try to get to it, and then picked off by the Colombians. They keep to it, almost taking the mark. It bounced off her knees. Ball goes to ground. Going to get picked up and center that one high. Going across. Again, Jarcel going after it for France. They have a 4-on-none, now 3-on-1 situation. Soccer that one off the ball. Just got her hands to it and tumbles out of bounds for a boundary throw-in. And it is the Colombians who have the front foot here, and they are in a very interesting position, Pete. We haven't mentioned the format yet, but they're in the same group as the other two American teams, the U.S. and Canada, who lost today. So Colombia, with a victory, could jump to the top of Pool A, remembering that the top two teams advanced to the the semifinal, which began on August 8th. But in the here and now, Colombia again knocking on heaven's door. There is a sort of a tug of war happening. The ball has not moved in the middle of that. Finally, somebody's able to pick that one up. It goes to ground, and then two Colombian players dive on it. We will have a ball up again. Colombia with the ball with a chance now 20 meters out.
That was Valentina Rodriguez putting the hand up to the umpire saying, is that holding the ball? The umpire said, no, there was no prior opportunity in that. Still a heavy traffic jam right up against the boundary line. Trying to watch on and wants to get into the contest. Lady Calderon, she can't get the football out. And the umpire comes in again. We'll call for yet another ball up. Again, in the middle of the action there for the Aguileras is Andrea Murillo, should I say, as the ball is now in dispute. Guterres, who kicks around the corner, and that will be the first score for Colombia in international football. They go to 1 behind. The French, no score, and we've played about 3.5 minutes into this first term, thanks to Payable apps.
And they were cheering for it like a goal, absolutely. Just being here, we're just talking to some of their team members, just being here is a victory, and everything else is house money. Up on the far side right now, they do lead 1-0, plenty of time, however, but they've had the sway of play, and it'll be a free kick going to Les Gauloises, as they are in the red jumpers. Now, this is their first 18 aside at the international level, at the intercontinental level. Some of their players, in fact, one, Naima El Mouden, did play for the European Crusaders in 2017. Colombia on the attack, but a nice mark taken by France. Now they'll look out to the near side and go quickly. Plays this one high up in the air. Oh, this one's going to get picked off, and a good job by Palacio, and Palacio's going to go back. Now, this is a question of experience. I think she probably could go back a little bit further, but she needs to take her time. She goes in quickly. Right-footed kick. Curly cues around. Doesn't have the distance. Lots of hands in front, and just trying to rush it through. The French trying to rush it through. Now, we are playing the AFL rule, and where it does have, there's a chance in front, and there's the first goal. There is the first goal, and it goes to Valentina Rodriguez, and she will enter the history books as the first player in Colombian history to kick a goal in Aussie rules football. Thanks to Payable apps, the Jaguars go to 1-1-7. Les Gauloises, no score.
Valentina Rodriguez, number 1, kicks the first goal for Colombia. Fantastic. You can hear the roar of the Colombian men who are watching on from beneath the trees here at Colonel Samuel Smith Park.
And it's worth mentioning, Pete, they've been up for this we heard them singing as they were getting off the bus as the second game was getting underway here. It reminds me almost of the South African and the South Pacific teams at the International Cup back in 2017.
Particularly the Fijians, when they get together and sing a song of praise at the end of the game. It certainly is a sight to behold, and you can see that when they play in the AFL Pacific Cup, which they're holding, I believe, in about November up in Maroochydore, Australia this year. As the umpire throws the football up in the air, and away we go again. Guterres there for Colombia. Goes towards the half-forward flank position. A few players almost got falconed on the way through. Little chip across the ground. I think that is Valentina Rodriguez again, who's fighting hard for the ball. In fact, scratch that. That is Marina Ceballos. Umpire blows the whistle. That's Dyfilan says holding the football, and a good tackle being laid on there by Joanne Aimin, and she'll have it at the half-back flank on the broadcast side. She's looking to try and come inboard. In fact, the umpire has whistled for a 50-metre penalty, so the French will have their first opportunity to go inside 50 for this game.
And that's going to be one of the factors here, Pete, is going to be maybe some of the inexperience of the Colombian players. Perhaps, you need to know to give the ball back. Some of these little infringements may come back to cost them, but they are in front here as they were able to knock the ball down, and then getting taken down with a half Nelson there was Ouvry for Les Gaulois, and we'll have a ball up. 7-0. Colombia on the Payable app scoreboard. Brian Barish alongside Peter Holden here in Etobicoke, Toronto, Canada. Going to pick that one up, and now 2 bites of the cherry. Out to the near side, going to soccer it on, and missing it with a big whiff there was Palacio. Able to get it away, and it's picked off. There was Ouvry. Just got it away, almost was guilty of a throw, and there the ball is down, and it's finally going to get picked up. The umpire says this is going, no, Dyfilan says this is going to be a free kick, and it will go the way of France, and it will come out on the near side, and once again, it's that player in Joanne Aimin.
Joanne Aimin with the football. Forward of centre, gets very close to the player on the mark. In fact, 50-metre penalty downfield. So what happened was Gutierrez decided to just take that little half step forward before the umpire said play on, and that results in a 50-metre penalty. We're not paying 25s, it is 50-metre penalties. That's the harshest penalty possible if you get marched down the ground, and that might almost put her in range. She'll be kicking from around about 30 metres out from goal. That's number 8, Magnon Yanin. Yanin decides to go towards the top of the square. It's a floating kick. Went through several sets of hands. Came to the ground. Hurried little kick out of the contest. Went to no advantage. Just trying to bust away through the pack. Joanne Aimin tries to throw it on the boot. Came off the side. One bounce over the boundary line and out of bounds next to the right-hand point post at the Mississauga end of the ground. Visit Mississauga.ca.
I think that was a smother there, Pete. I think one of the Colombian defenders just got her paw to it and prevented even a score from taking place. They are playing out of their skull so far, and we expected this. They're an athletic bunch. Ball drops in front. Going to get picked up by Aimin as she tries for it. She is taken down, and she is Gone gone. Great tackle by Colombia, and they'll have a chance to go the other way. Both sets of jumpers by today are choice. Colombia is getting theirs yesterday at the team hotel. Out for the near side, looking for the other side. That's Benavides, who is the most experienced player on the team. She goes for it. She soccers that one off the ground. There does Laura Garcia. Comes up to the middle of the ground now, and the ball squirts out free. Going to get picked up once again. Goes off the hands of Gualteros. Gualteros now gets the ball free. France has it. There's a long pass down off the hands there of Aimin once again, and she is taken down, and it's gone. It'll be a free kick.
We're just
to Colombia.
Yes, we're just keeping an eye on the umpire. He pointed the wrong way, then pointed the correct way. And now we see it in the hands of the Jaguares, who they'll go up the line towards the half-forward flank position. Came off several sets of hands, but just trying to bust the way through there was Pineda. Didn't get caught. Now get it on to the advantage of Murillo, who goes long towards the goal square. There's no one back there. And Thalay, Mathilda Thalay for France takes the mark deep in defence. And Thalay's just going to go long with the kick, trying to put the hands up to Coup. That is a great, strong mark. Gaudi Decou, the captain of the French team, also plays rugby. Turns 25, by the way, on the 6th of August, a few days away. So a happy birthday in advance to her. Taking the mark then, Magnon Janin. She has the football just on the defensive side of centre wing in front of our their live broadcast position. Goes long up the line, a bit of shepherding going on. No one attacked the ball, and because of that, that's a lasso rule free kick to Colombia, and they will have it defensive side of centre wing.
5 to play first quarter. Colombia 1-1, France nothing. Payable app scoreboard. And with the ball here is Ceballos. Mariana Ceballos has the football now, looking down the field. She likes what she sees. Line drive of a kick off of hands. Ball goes to ground. I mean is in there as well. Ball gets kicked forward. Here comes France the other way. Quick kick down the ground. And, nice high mark taken. And taken there by the 73, which is Heidi Bellois. Bellois sends it down into the 50-meter arc. Here's a chance, but almost cleaned up. And going back to get it, once again, was Gualteros. Gualteros gets it out to the near side, high in the air. Everybody kind of alligator arming the football, but it got picked up by France. Long handball back. Going through and slaloming through is Janine once again. It pops out in the middle of the ground. Good handball look there from Lady Calderon. She sends this one down into the top of the center square, and the ball goes to ground. And
high free kick.
High free kick, and it will go the way of Murillo.
Andrea Murillo with the football. Forward to the centre circles, not quite at centre half forward. Goes with a short little chip kick that almost got cut off. Trying to get involved in the contest is Paris. Couldn't squeeze it out there for the French, but the French do move it about 20 metres forward towards the centre circles. Umpire blows the whistle for too high. And let's see who gets the resulting free kick. It's Gualteros, who played for the Darebin Falcons for the last 5 months in Melbourne in Division 1 of the Northern Football Netball League. She decides to play on quickly. Gualteros goes long and high with the kick. The ball bounces out the back. There'll be a mad scramble on here towards the pocket before the ball goes out of bounds. Trying to get to it first is Romero. Romero tried to throw it on the boot. Couldn't do so. The umpire says that's holding the football. And that'll be a free kick going the way of the French in the back pocket. It is Colombia 1-1-7. France no score.
I think there was Le Cawar who had the football, who got the tackle, and France has been under the pump here in this first term, under 3 to go. Still 7-0 Colombia on the Payable app scoreboard. Goes out to the near side. Nice intercept mark taken. A good, strong mark taken once again by Gualteros, and she's showing that experience. As you mentioned, playing for the Darebin Falcons. There's a kick into the pocket and a good look. Wide open there was Ceballos, and Ceballos will go back. So she'll look around as she is 2 kicks from goal here, just at the edge of the 50-meter paint. Now she's going back, going to try and use her full measure. Just got that one on. It skews towards the boundary line. Did find the field of play. In fact, it found a Colombian player, and that one is sent up towards the 6, and it did sneak through for a minor score. Payable app scoreboard, Colombia 1-2-8. France, no score, 2 to play here in the first term.
You're watching the AFL Transatlantic Cup via the AFL Canada YouTube channel. Thanks very much for your company. Peter Holden and Brian Barish with you. Ball in the middle of the ground. That ball is sponsored, of course, by the Australian High Commission in Canada. Or the Australian Embassy in Canada, I should say. Thank you very much to their support in advancing Australia's interests in Canada. Taken away by the player in the Palacio. And the umpire says holding the football, free kick. In fact, it was Michon, caught there by the Colombians, and they will have the resulting free kick at the centre half back position. Goes out wide. Good mark taken. Just swallowing it whole there. Laura Garcia. Garcia moves it towards the half forward flank on the Lake Ontario side of the ground. Ball turned an awkward way there for Bohorquez to try and pick up the football. And Thalay says, look, I don't have the football. I've been dealt with unfairly. Do I get a free kick? Umpire Di Filan says, indeed you do. And it will be a free kick for Thalay of the French. Lake Ontario side of the ground.
Thalay looks around. She has 7 seconds thereabouts to make up her mind and decide what to do before the umpire says play on, and Di Filan does that, so she kicks it in short off the hands there of Bellois, and we have a whistle, and it was holding the player, taking her down without the football, and you're not allowed to do that unless they do have the football, and now they'll have to go and retrieve it. Earlier results today, as Ireland defeated the USA Freedom in the first game, and then the game that we just saw here in the second one, where Great Britain with a thrilling one-point victory over Canada, the defending grand finalists from the 2017 International Cup. So as we said, Colombia with a victory will jump to the top in Pool A. The ball goes to ground. There was some contact in that contest, and France again will earn the free kick. Not much time left, 15 seconds in point of fact, as they'll have a free kick on the far side.
Right in front of the scoreboard, which is normally the scoreboard for the AFL Ontario Football League. At the moment, of course, they're obviously in break, allowing us to have this fantastic Transatlantic Cup tournament as the siren goes to indicate quarter time here at Colonel Samuel Smith Park. at the Humber College South Campus at Etobicoke. It is 1-8 Colombia, France no score, and just the one goal kicker, Brian Barish.
Yeah, Valentina Rodriguez, who will go down in Colombian sporting lore as the player who kicked the first goal in history. But let me tell you, I'm very impressed with their skills. Their skills are generally pretty good, and you know, the athleticism is definitely there. I think the one big thing, we saw those two 50-meter penalties. We saw a couple of turnovers. I mean, look, these games, they're playing against superior competition. I mean, France, as we said, they are experienced, but you know what? They're going to have to clean that up. If they can do that, I mean, I think they're going to be a very difficult team to stop.
What will be interesting to see is as we get to the fourth quarter of who's got the petrol in the tank, is it the Colombians, because they'll be playing in these type of conditions back home rather than the French, even though in some parts of France it can get rather quite warm, particularly when you go down to the south of France. We saw it happen in the first game between Ireland and the USA, Brian, where virtually Ireland was streaking ahead at three-quarter time. They came away with the points, but some damage was on the scoreboard by the USA in the final quarter.
Yeah, and I think the U.S. Much more experienced in the humid conditions, especially a lot of the players in the middle of the country, and there are a lot of them. I think that's going to be the key. You know, this is one game of 5 that they're going to play in 9 games. So it's not just game management from game to game. It's going to be tournament management as we go on and as we get towards the pointy end.
And an additional challenge for both sides, as you can have 28 players in a squad, and of course you can only field 24 on a day. But the French are coming with 26 players to this tournament. The Colombians coming with 27. So 2 and 1 short, respectively. We might take this opportunity to take a break thanks to Payable apps. It is Colombia 1-8, leading France no score.
Great news, sports teams. Google Forms now accepts payments. The Payable Forms add-on allows for seamless integration of a digital checkout with your Google Forms. Setup is easy. Install the Payable Forms add-on. Link your payment provider. Share and get paid. Players can use Apple Pay, Google Pay, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Discover, Cash App, Venmo, and more, streamlining the process for them, all while you stay organized with real-time updates. Registrations, uniforms, races, sponsorship, clinics, coaching, training, and classes. Keep it simple with Payable Forms.
Music Vibe.
And we're back at Colonel Samuel Smith Park, Humber College, Etobicoke, Toronto, Canada, for the 2024 Transatlantic Cup. And it's thanks to Payable apps at quarter time. We have the French no score, Colombia, sitting on 1-8. Valentina Rodriguez, the history maker, kicking the first ever goal for a Colombian international women's Australian football team. For the French, their first time playing 18-a-side, yet to put a score on the board. And just taking a look at the French at the moment, what do they need to do to try and bring themselves back into the game? 8 points is clearly an easy margin to make up. What do they need to do, Brian Barish?
I think they need to calm down. I think they look very, very rushed. I mean, you can tell that they're getting together and they're playing this at this level for the first time. So that's all they got to do. They just got to play their game. They also have to keep the pressure on. I mean, they are getting some of these away, but I feel like if the Colombians get a lot of pressure on them, they are going to start to make mistakes. Still 3 quarters to go.
As we wait for players, umpires, coaches, all of that to get in their respective positions, and then we'll be underway. And should give a shout out, by the way, to Orica, who've chipped in some big money to help Colombia come to their first ever international women's tournament. As they say, it isn't cheap. It costs tens of thousands of dollars for each of these sides to be able to come up, pay for accommodation, pay for flights, etc. So for all those corporate partners that do pay for those respective sides, and those that have chipped in for the respective GoFundMes that many sides have been raising during the last couple of months, thank you very much for your support and being able to make this tournament happen, along with the sponsors that you're hearing on this broadcast. We're about to get underway with the second term. Here's the USAFL's Brian Barish.
Thank you very much, Pete. And this is it's a Herculean effort, especially for these fledgling programs. And we mentioned Colombia, France as well. And that's one of the things in this delay is the resources. Difilan tosses the ball to the heavens. Gravity takes effect. Second quarter action underway as now the Jaguars going towards the Visit Mississauga end of the stadium tour of the field to the right as the ball gets taken down, and we'll have a ball up directly across from us as Colombia again on the Payable app scoreboard lead by 8-0. A reminder, we're playing 17.5-minute quarters, a total of 70 minutes of play across these 5 rounds on the women's side. Ball gets knocked down as Colombia has it. Fighting for the football there is Mahecha, and we have a whistle, and it looks like once again it will be a ball up.
Jasail and Ceballos to go at it. One out there by Jasail. Ball hit the ground. Trying to fight the way through. Yanin couldn't get it out for the French. Hurry kicked out there by Guterres there for the Colombians. Gets inside there. Forward 50. Close towards their goal square. Trying to knock it forward. Murillo. Close towards the point post. The lay goes with her. No high awarded. Ball still on the deck. Going once again is Murillo. Can't quite put boot to ball. Here's an opportunity in the goal square. Fresh air attempt. Mad scramble on. It's a rugby scramble at 15 metres out from goal. And the umpire comes in and blows the whistle and says, look, it is going absolutely nowhere. I'm going to take the football back, please, and call for a ball up. Mahecha taking the last-minute tackle there for Colombia.
Ball high in the air once again. Ball gets knocked down. France, it's fire drill time. They try to clear it out. There's a snap for goal, and it bounces through. Colombia has kicked their second goal of the game through Rubiano. And on the Payable app scoreboard, what is happening? Colombia 2-2-14. France no score, a mad scramble in front. And now we're seeing different aspects, Pete. In the open play, they're playing well, but that was chaos ball in front. And a great job by Rubiano to just throw it on the boot and get the sausage roll.
We're talking about the Payable app scoreboard. For a moment, I want to talk about the Vision Glass Toronto tournament standings. Locations in Richmond Hill, Thornhill, Woodbridge and Vaughan, specialising in auto glass services. Remember, the USA and Canada both lost today. At the moment in Pool A, the Americas pool, Colombia, as it sits, are on top.
With Canada on second and the U.S. in third. But there's still 2 more games after this. Plenty of time for things to change. But that would be a snapshot that would be saved for some time if Colombia can hang on. Still plenty of time, however. We're only 2.5 minutes into this second term. But Colombia right now looking the better of the two sides as France tries to move the ball forward. Ball gets taken down. Over to get it is Doku. Doku now able to get it, and she is taken down. Umpire crosses his arms like the first rabbi of Australian rules football, L'Chaim, and we'll have a ball up on the intense side of the field. Brian Barish, Peter Holden here with you on this final game of day 1, 10 days of Aussie rules football. We'll have them end for you starting at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time, and if you're watching us back in Australia, that's 11:30 p.m. Make some coffee and stay up with us.
Lady Calderon kicked the football along the carpet towards the centre-half forward position, and Palacio had her jumper pulled, and she ended up getting a resulting free kick. So Lucia Palacio, she finds herself more than 50 metres out from goal. Certainly a long, long way out, and will be looking to get a marking target in the hot spot at 30 metres out from goal. Ball went flying through the air. Gutierrez, the ball was at her back. Murillo again tried to put boot to ball. Got caught once, got caught twice trying to put boot to ball. Ball on the deck. She goes in for another tackle. Ball spills out. Umpire says it's fair. Play on. The French under siege at the moment in their back 50 as the ball is close towards the boundary line. Trying to do the running work there for the French is Bolwa. Close towards the boundary line. It will go over and out. Also being seen over in the end by Gracillo, and we'll call for a ball in right about 48 metres out from goal. Colombia clearly looking the dominant side.
And it looks like it's going to be a free kick here. They're trying to figure out who gets the footy. I think they're having a small conference about it. And now they're being...
Looks like it must have been a lasso.
Yeah.
Might have been just close to the paint.
It was just outside the 50-meter arc. So she's going to get wound around there with Laura Diaz on the mark for Colombia. She's going to be told to play on and does. Into the center half forward position as the ball bounces off the chest of and now back the other way. Colombia knocking on the door once again, sending that one in. It bounces away. Ooh, it took a wicked off break. There's that cricket thing again, and the ball goes out of bounds, I believe, and it will be a boundary throw in about 10 meters around. Payable Apps scoreboard, 4.5 minutes gone, second term. Colombia 14, France zilch.
For some people who have never heard cricket, Brian is raising a silly point. As the ball is ready to be thrown back into play, we're about 35 metres out from goal. Ball's just going to fall short as trying to bring it to ground there was Mary for the French. Hurried little kick out of the contest, went nowhere. Thalay is acting like his goalkeeper on the line, just jumped on the football straight away and copped a 1-2 high and will get the resulting free kick. If the tackle wasn't Crew, she may have been pinned for holding the ball, but she put her head over the ball and got rewarded for it. So Thalay for the French manages to go towards their half-back flank position. Awkward bouncing ball. Got past Palacio there for the Colombians. The Colombians are quick and have got some speed on. No worries about that. Gudera says, I'm not going to pick up the ball. I'm going to go ole. Some soccer skills. Right up against the boundary line. Here's a squaring shot. Will come off hands. Right against the post. The French somehow managing to keep it out. Lacaro there for the French. Now a quick snap around the corner. How does that look? It is out of bounds on the full for the Colombians. Free kick for the French. 5 metres around from the left-hand point post. Scoreboard for Payable Apps. 2-2-14 Colombia. France no score.
You get the feeling, Peter, you're going to see a Payable Apps goal of the tournament perhaps at some point. They look like they have a lot of flair. And I'll tell you what, if you are Canada and you are the U.S., you are watching these and trying to figure out, okay, there's a possibility we may be playing this team in some respect down the line. And I think even if you're the other two teams that they play in Ireland and Great Britain, you're watching and saying, how are we going to deal with this speed? France with the football, however, finds a connection up on the far side as they have the football in their right half back flank. The ball is kicked by Doku once again up on the far side, and we have a free kick as she was taken out in the contest, and it will be a free kick to France once again. 14-0 here. So we mentioned men's play underway with the same 6 teams that you saw today as umpire Seth McAvaney awards the free kick. Ball is on the intense side of the ground because there are people over there intense. That joke is going to get used at least once a game because, you know, it's pretty good. As the ball gets backed up on the far side, well, I think it is, as the ball drops in front, almost getting held from behind, and then able to find that one free. Oh, that could have been pushed in the back, and it is. Pay that against number 11, Linda Mejia, as we'll have a free kick for France in the center of the ground as they trail by 14 points.
And it looks like it's Abel's going to end up with the football. She's looking to go towards the half-forward flank position. Bit of a pipe floater and got easily picked off in the end. So an opportunity for the Colombians to try and either stay to the Lake Ontario side of the ground or come straight down the guts. They elect to stay to the Lake Ontario side of the ground. A little bit of a scramble on here, getting thrown into the ground there. I think it was Marie Ayin who tried to pick up the football. She couldn't come away with it because she obviously went to the deck. Gracilla was passing by. She couldn't pick up the football. The Colombians somehow scrappily move it towards their centre-half forward position. And it looks like, I think that's Gutierrez again, who just kicks around the corner. 1-2, bounces to late, chasing after the football, and will go over the boundary line and out of bounds next to the left-hand point post. But not a bad option in the end. You might as well technically say a set play. Allows them to reset, get numbers down with the ball into the hot spot.
It'd be interesting to see, Pete, how they work off of these set plays. That is one of the things is positioning. The skills are one thing, but it's about game sense. And right now, they are really impressing me with the amount of game sense that they have. Ball comes spinning back in the play. Gets knocked down, swallows through. Just got her foot to the ball. And did that go through untouched? Yes, sirree, Bob. Third goal of the game for Colombia. And you can give that to Murillo once again, who had a fantastic tackle earlier today, and now she gets her first goal of the game. Payable Apps scoreboard. Look at this. Colombia 3-2-20. France no score. And once again, the hustle, just throwing the foot to the ball, and a little bit of luck got the ball through the goalposts.
I tell you one thing. Pre to this tournament, I was chatting with a few people who have been covering World Footy for a while, including Troy Thompson at World Footy News. And there have been a little bit of rumours and talk around the grapevine about Colombia, because this is going to be the international debut. And a lot was saying, don't sleep on Colombia. If you're not waking up to this team, you could find yourselves on the wrong end of the win-loss column against them. And how they're performing at the moment, if they could, let's say hypothetically, they could finish strong with a good 6 or 7 goals today, that puts them into the range of, I don't think they're in competition yet with Ireland, but they could give the United States, Canada, or Great Britain a hell of a fright if they're not switched on.
And especially if they end up with a big victory here, Pete. Remember, the first tiebreaker is points percentage. It's similar to point differential. But that's the thing. If they can run up, and there's still plenty of time to go, but if they can run up a few goals there, that will put them in the conversation for the semifinals.
And the football is thrown up in the middle of the ground. Curried little hand pass out. One-step kick, and that's by Valentina Rodriguez, who describes herself as the fastest player in the team. Well, she's the fastest to goal. She kicked their first goal of the international tournament as they kick it long with Gutierrez going in towards the hot spot. 30 metres out from goal. Big crunching tackle laid on. Will it be paid? It will be. And no advantage paid. It will come back to the spot. 30 metres out from goal. Let's see who's got the footy in hand. It's the number 16. A spinner. A spinner decides to go to the top of the goal square. Thulay took it off hands for the French and then put it on the right boot. Put it out to a running player there in Ducou. Ducou, who overran the football. Opportunity here for the Colombians if they can try and connect. Going after it is Rubano. She couldn't pick up the football. The French will kick it out towards the half-back flank position for Marie Aymin. Couldn't get clean control of the football. Hurried little soccer kick off the ground by Laura Garcia to go inside 50. 40 metres out from goal. Whistle blown by the umpire for a holding infringement against the Colombians. It'll be going the way of the La Gauloise. And the French will have an opportunity to try and reset from 45 metres out from their defensive goal.
Just under 7 minutes to go here in the first half. Colombia 3-2-20. France no score. Game 3, day 1 of 10 here in this 2024 AFL Transatlantic Cup, thanks to Payable ads. A connection up on the far side now, and she's going to look and send this one down the line. Ball goes high in the air, almost taken over the mark, and the ball will run and bounce towards the scoreboard there. And going to be picked up, but I think she stepped out of bounds. Now the question is whether or not, they are signaling for a boundary throw-in, I believe. Yep, there's a question as to whether or not that would be a last touch out of bounds or a regular, and it is original flavor, not extra spicy. Chicken. As the ball comes spinning back in the play. Good high toss as in on the ruck there was Ceballos against Ducou, who has been involved for France a fair bit. Sends this one down into the pocket. France getting their first opportunity in some time. Cleared out by the Colombians, however, and the ball gets knocked to ground. Going to get picked up, and now they're going to turn this one inboard, and there's absolutely nobody in the middle of the ground. So now they have to run on. Getting it on about 4 hops and getting taken down from behind was Palacio who is in there, and she does get the free kick. Oh no, she doesn't. I thought it was high, and it looks like, and again, the umpire pointing in the wrong direction. Yeah. Or did they?
Yes, it's a Colombian free kick.
That's what I thought.
Umpire pointing in the wrong direction.
Well, listen, I don't know my front from my back from time to two, so I can empathize. Out to the near side, and the ball is taken down. Ball gets picked up, and now trying to rush it forward. She dropped the footy. Good pressure there by Murillo, who has the last of the 3 goals, but France will keep the pressure forward. 1-on-1 contest, slapped free by the halfback. Pops through everybody's arms. Putting her head over the football was Gaultier. Gaultier is in there as well, and then going to pick that one up nicely was Aymin now sends that one over into the pocket, trying to clear that one out to the near side, but going after it is Pineda. Pineda now gets to it. There's a 1-on-1 contest. Colombia playing their first real hustle defense, and they're going to get it again as it's picked up once again by Ducou. Ducou sends that one in. It ping-pongs around. There's a chance in front, trying to get it through. Good defense by Colombia. Throws that one onto the left, just across the face, and there was a whistle behind the play.
In the back, free kick, France.
And it looks like it will be Adel Mouden, and she is down after being taken down, and the trainers are out, hurry. So it looks like we are going to have a quick stoppage of play here. And that one was, that was really tough. She was going after the football, nothing malicious in it. It's just a good hard tackle.
Feeling a little worse for wear. Umpire Di Filan just having a chat to the respective trainers. They come in to check out the situation. And if she does take the free kick, or if she obviously can't because of injury and it has to be given to a teammate, they'll be having a shot on goal from, I'd estimate, about 20 metres out, but on a very acute angle to look for the French first. So we just have this break in play. We want to make A note to the Australian High Commission to Canada for sponsoring the balls used for this tournament. They're responsible for advancing Australia's interests in Canada. You can visit them online at canada.embassy.gov.au. And our players of the tournament, we have a player of the match for each match up until the grand finals. And those game MVPs are courtesy of Payable. Custom cedar supplies done right. Cedar supplies based in Western Canada. Payable.com.
Now, we want to mention, as we mentioned, we'll be back here tomorrow for men's action as their round one gets underway beginning at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. We'll have Ireland taking on Colombia, the Warriors and Los Jaguares. And then at 11:45, it'll be the USA men, the Revolution, taking on Le Coq de la France, the Roosters, so to speak. And then at 2 p.m., Canada, the Northwind, will take on the Bulldogs of Great Britain as Eight El Modin now comes from the field, and that is a big blow for France because
yeah, well, their most experienced player, 2017 AFL International Cup with the European Crusaders, also played in a couple of Euro Cups and a couple of Anzac Cups.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a big blow, especially as. But here's the shot on goal, and that goes behind. That really, really kind of floated through the air. But France finally is on the board with 4 to play in the first half. Payable app scoreboard: Colombia 3-2-20. France 1 behind.
That was Clotilde Ducou, and she has the first score for France in an 18-a-side game at international level in the women's. So congratulations to her for that milestone. As the ball is now on the wing position, Lake Ontario side of the ground here at Colonel Samuel Smith Park. Peter Holden and Brian Barish with you on commentary. And it will be, by the way the umpire is pointing, a French free kick. And he was pointing in the way of number 19. We'll have to go get her own football there, which would be Leandra Camus. And Camus has the football just forward of centre wing. Elects to go towards the half-forward flank, sticking wide on the Lake Ontario side of the ground. Clash of little bodies there, trying to lay on the tackle, but it didn't stick there for Benavides. Close towards the boundary line. Ball they cry, umpire not buying into it as Yenin came by for the French. And the umpire has whistled out of bounds last disposal. Free kick going to the French. A hurry kick trying to go inside 50. Looking for Michon, who couldn't quite hang on to the football. She's besieged upon straight away. Little hurried hand pass out, trying to get to Marie Aymin. Close against the boundary line. They're going to have to work this very quickly. Here's an opportunity for the French. A little chip shot at goal is marked on the last line of defence.
Oh, they got out of jail there. Good defense by Colombia. Long kick out to the near side. 2.5 to go here in the first half. Bounces away now off the top. It clean bowls. Lizeth Calderon went through it. She wished she was a little bit taller. She wished she was a baller, but they'll play on, and they go down the line. Good mark, taking that one there in front of Thiele, and she will move on quickly, heading towards the sticks. If she can pick it up, it's a wide open goal square. Oh, you gotta pick that one up. Carolina Ospina, all she had to do was pick it up, and she would have had a goal, but perhaps the inexperience showing there. You have to talk a lot. We'll say the score, Colombia 3-3-21, France 1 behind, and that's where the Colombia players behind her have to yell, you're free, pick it up, and that didn't happen.
Yeah, you've got time. So, Colombia with a 20-point lead with 2 minutes remaining in this first half, as the kick out from defence goes into an awkward scrambling position. And the ball has gone out of bounds just outside the 50 for a last disposal rule free kick. And it's going the way of the Colombians. And I think it might be Gutierrez there. Putting the hand up is Jimenez, asking for the ball to be kicked in her direction. Falls a little short of that, but she will offer the shepherd as it's taken away there by Lady Calderon, who gets it towards the pocket. French do have some numbers here, just going to ground and hitting the ground hard, Yenin. And the umpire says you'll have a free kick out of that. 35 metres out from defensive goal for the French. They trail by 20 points. The kick up the line, putting their hands up there to try and get the punch in, was Mahicha for the Colombians. And the umpire says this is a free kick being pulled out and is going the way of pointing one way, then the other way. Then it's a traffic cop out there. Don't give me a parking fine, as it'll be going the way of the French.
I've seen the traffic here in Toronto. I think that definitely is on point.
And they'll kick up the line, just through the hands there of Echeverri for the Colombians, who goes back in for a second crack at the football, then kicks it inside 50, trying to get there Lecheur, who had front position for the French. The Colombians, though, do knock it along the ground, and trying to fight in there is Lizeth Calderon. Now tries to kick it around the corner towards the hot spot at 30 metres out from goal. Mad rush on here. And the umpire calls for the whistle and says, I'll have a ball up. It's like a Boxing Day sale out there at the moment. Everyone's involved.
The day after Halloween, and it's Dollar Candy Day, as the ball goes up on the far side now, and there is the siren, and that's halftime. Halftime here at Colonel Sam Smith Park on the campus of Humber College in suburban Toronto, Canada. The score, it's the Colombia Jaguares. 3 goals, 3 behinds, 21 points, and Les Gaulois de la France, 1 point. And Pete, yeah, I think in a way it's a little surprising experience-wise, because France, there's I think the structure of their system's a little bit built up, but Colombia has the raw athleticism that we've seen here. There's some mistakes that they're going to need to clean up there, and they're going to get harder opponents after this game is done, and I think a better opponent is going to make them pay. But so far, I'm pretty impressed.
I think the thing to spot is what's happening in the back line at the moment. It's slightly better structure, because you find that when the French are coming out, the French are struggling to hit more than 2 players in a row in a chain. And that's going to be tough when they're taking on the likes of Canada and the USA if you can't get a chain going up the line. With the Colombians, I'll talk about their chain in a moment, but first of all, they're keeping the French locked in inside their back 50. They're building a very nice wall at the moment. Not quite as structured as the other teams, but they've certainly learned, and they're certainly just keeping the French boxed in. When Colombia are going up the line, they're not as clean with a run of handballs and marks, but they just know how to kick to advantage. They know how to get the ball to a right spot, that if it's a contest, we talk about smart football, the little tap along the ground. Okay, I'm not getting clean possession, but I'm getting an extra 20 or 30 metres. They know they're faster than the French, and they're taking this to their advantage. Again, some of these the Colombian girls have played rugby, and you can see some of those little skills seeping into their game and that knowledge to their advantage.
One thing very quickly that I've noticed, especially watching the International Cup, where there's teams from beyond, obviously, these 3 continents, there's always something about the sports that they're involved in, and you see that influence the soccer playing countries, the rugby playing countries, in some places like the cricket playing countries, perhaps. They all have their own style and their own flavor, and I think we're seeing that with these two, because you mentioned those influences very quickly as well. The goal scorers at halftime, Valentina Rodriguez, Murillo, and Rubiano have the 3 goals in the game.
At halftime, it is Colombia 3-3-21, leading France 1 behind at the 2024 AFL Transatlantic Cup in Toronto. We'll be back in just a moment.
Footy fans, you need to know about AFL Canada Shop. AFL Canada Shop has great items, whether you are a player, a coach, an umpire, a fan of Team Canada, or helping to grow this great game. Plus, AFL Canada Shop sells the highest quality Australian footballs at the best price anywhere. And we ship everywhere in the footy world. So visit AFL Canada Shop today at aflcanadashop.ca.
AFL has huge potential, not only in Colombia, but also Latin America. And Orica is really excited to be part of that story.
Los lazos humanos entre Colombia y Australia son de una importancia altísima. Para ambos países el deporte es algo muy importante en la vida. Tenemos las culturas muy similares en este sentido, con los valores de equidad de género, de participación. En la cancha todos somos iguales.
Mi vida siempre se basó en el tema del deporte, porque el deporte a mí me salvó de todo aspecto posible, que normalmente en la juventud no. El tema de alcohol, de vicios y demás, a mí llegó a mi vida fue el deporte. En el 2019 tuve un accidente de tránsito donde las oportunidades de volver a tocar una cancha eran nulas. Aún los médicos me dicen, tú cero deporte, cero correr, jugar, saltar, deportes de contacto. Siento que mi familia en esa parte forma un pilar importantísimo. Mi mamá estuvo conmigo y me cuidó como nadie lo hizo, porque era la que tenía y se aguantaba la de mamá, no quiero a nadie en este momento.
AFL Colombia has the potential to have long-lasting impacts in the communities. Entonces, Alejandro, Oscar y Estefanía, we chose these players as the future leaders because they showed throughout the selection process and throughout their time in the organisation that they are future leaders and they are really focused on developing others.
La idea es crecer aún más, estar en un nivel alto para así poder llegar y enseñarle a todos a mis compañeros.
Para mí la beca es una oportunidad enorme, una oportunidad que no se le presenta a cualquiera, una oportunidad que ya tenía mi nombre destinado en ello. Voy a vivir siempre agradecida con este deporte porque me dio una luz, porque yo vivía mi vida después del accidente, vivía mi vida, pero no era feliz. Cuando conocí el deporte y empecé a jugar de nuevo, y vida está de testigo, mi vida cambió.
That's a culmination of a lot of work for a lot of people. A heap of people have contributed to this, and it's great to see them living out their dreams, and you know, we're all very excited for them, and it's going to be great.
Welcome back to Colonel Samuel Smith Park in Toronto, Canada. We're at the Humber College Etobicoke campus for this 2024 AFL Transatlantic Cup. Thanks to Payable Apps. Peter Oldham, Brian Barish with you, bringing you the third game for today. This is day one of competition. We are going backwards and forwards with women's, men's, and so forth until we get to the day of consolation finals and grand finals. And in this third women's match, we are seeing Colombia with a 3-3-21 to one behind lead over the France. And if you've just joined us, we do need to mention that both of these sides are making their 18-a-side international debut. France have played a number of 9-a-side tournaments, and some of the French players have played with the European Crusaders at the 2017 AFL International Cup. But the first time for France with 18-a-side, and Colombia, fantastic to see AFL Colombia be able to send their side, Brian, to this tournament, and they're showing very well, 3-3-21. I think that's the most encouraging thing for football going ahead in South America. We know there's been a few players, loose players around in Peru and Chile and like that. If Colombia can have a very good showing of this tournament in women's and also in men's, it encourages, I guess, that program to not only get stronger, but hopefully, now I don't want to put words into your mouth because you're from the USAFL, but also Canada, to start making the consideration of, well, maybe we do need to start sending some sides south or inviting Colombia up to have a few more internationals and give some flavour besides, dare I say, always USA-Canada.
Well, and that's the thing. I think the idea is, and since the start, I know the USAFL has really embraced the fact that there's growth down in South America. And who knows? I mean, you might see other countries get involved in it, but really, I mean, this is, like you said, this is really heartening. The more countries that we get involved in this, yeah, it'd be great to see more in the Western Hemisphere as we go on, and that Parallel Cup format expands.
Indeed, and and as we said, we see either sides coming up to North America or American sides going down to South America. And necessarily, it doesn't have to always be the top team going down. We do note that, of course, the Americans and the Canadians do have respective reserve sides for the Revolution and also for the Northwind. And they'll actually be playing Saturday week, a 4 p.m. game here, an exhibition match attached to this Transatlantic Cup tournament.
Yeah, that'll be fun as well. Some of the players who didn't quite make it, but will still get the experience of playing internationally.
Well, we're about to get underway for the third term, thanks to Payable apps. Here's Brian Barish.
Thank you very much. Umpire Seth McAvaney holds the spirit of this great game aloft. He comes forward, makes sure all is in readiness, and in fact it isn't. As there was a question there, in fact, he wants to speak to the number 8, Manon Yanin, about something.
I think they had 5 in the center instead of 4.
Yeah, and that's the key. And now, if that was the case, and he did throw the ball up, it would have been a free kick to Colombia. But
in fact, it could have been tragedy for them because they could have then asked for a player count. The French.
Oh, that would have been a problem. Again, 18 on the field, and we are playing with the AFL rule of the 6-6-6. That's 6 in each of the 3 zones. But in effect, we are all set to go. Third quarter underway as the ball gets knocked down. The opening hit out goes to Los Jaguares as there is Gualteros again kicking the ball forward, soccering it off as they go towards the Toronto City Center, and France now going to right of screen towards the Visit Mississauga end. Now it's a one-on-one contest. That one is kicked along the ground, going after it, laying her shoulder in nicely. There was Doku, who has been really the main mover for the French side, and the ball is held up, and we will have a ball up directly across from us. Just underway, first minute of this third term. Colombia leads 21-1. A little bit of a shock here in the early going, but still plenty of time. Ball gets slapped down the ground out to the near side, picking that one up on a hot, and sending that one again was Gualteros, and that is right into the chest. Didn't go 15, however, but running by and saying thank you very much was Lady Calderon. Calderon sends that one inside the 50-meter arc. It bounces away, chasing after it. Big crash opera, getting hold off the ball, and I think that's going to get called was Laura Romero as Margot Paris held her off the ball as she was going after it. So this is a free kick opportunity now as Romero will line up. And once again, this is the fundamentals here. It's not just the kick. It's about taking your time. It's a wounded duck of a ball. It drifts across. Going to stay in play, however. And now bootlegging around, dancing, romancing, sending the shot for a goal across the face. It is right there in the goal mouth. And we have a whistle. And I think it's going to be a ball up. Nope. It is going to be a free kick, and it will go the way of the fullback delay.
And she manages to move the football in towards the dangerous centre-half back position directly in front of goal. Plenty of numbers around here for the Jaguares as they go long and high towards the top of the goal square. Just bounces off the chest. Couldn't quite bring it in, but went for the quick hand pass out there. Sarah Rodriguez towards the top of the goal square. Mad scramble on. Whistle is blown. And the umpire says holding the football, and it'll be a free kick going the way of the French. And going to end up with the pill in the end is the number 22, Emily Grosilla, who played in the 2024 Anzac Cup out of the Paris Cockerels football team. And she'll just try and move the ball from deep in defence and go towards the broadcast side pocket. Kick works out okay. I always thought it was a bit too dangerous, but getting on the end of it is Manon Yanin. Yanin, who also plays rugby and, believe it or not, was recruited out of the Bali Geckos because she's currently based in Bali, Indonesia. Oh, that one's too high. Easily too high. Free kick going the way of the Colombians. She got collared, and it ends up with a resulting free kick. Laura Garcia. No. Nope. Painful. Oh, My goodness gracious me.
Well, sometimes logic is a 4-letter word, and sometimes, well, the umpires are way closer than us. So there it is, ball in front as it gets knocked around. Hey, listen, they're closer to us, so I can't complain. As the ball goes out of bounds, not that I would complain anyway. I don't complain. My wife won't let me. As the ball comes back in the plow, it's a lasso rule, and it will be a last touch out of bounds, and it will be a free kick. And it will go the way, I believe, of the aforementioned Laura Garcia. Garcia is 50 meters out, goes in the middle of the ground, bounces away, and now it's going to get picked up, and here the other way comes Janine. France need to clear it out. They need to hit the scoreboard. She's taken down behind the field of play, and that's what's going to get called as she was taken down behind the play. I believe that's going to go to Fanny Michon, and umpire McAvaney calling everybody back, saying you need to come back here. It was, in fact, a push, and we have Gualteros now on the mark. 13:45 to go, third quarter, 21-1 on the Payable app scoreboard. Peter Holden.
Fanny Michon decides to go towards the wing position on the broadcast side to eThere Live. Little tap along the ground there by Jassal. Get all hand pass out. Camus just falling over each other there. Gracella was there, but now it's a Colombian ball. Gutierrez again just roaring around. Jimenez goes towards the centre half forward position. The French there will stand tall, but Gutierrez parks herself underneath it in the middle of the ground and takes a comfortable mark here for the Colombians. Gutierrez with a booming kick inside 50. Awkward bouncing football. Trying to get a punch in there, Paris for the French. Ball spilled out towards the pocket. Here's a little bouncing shot. A goal is away to the right-hand side and will register as a minor score. 3-4-22. Colombia, France, one behind. We've just under 13 minutes to play in this third term.
Got to keep an eye on the French bench here because they are requesting a fair bit of substitution, so they are trying to keep their players as fresh as possible. And we've mentioned it many times over the course of the 3 games here today. Remember, they're playing 5 games in 9 days, and the humidity is going to be a factor. This one is turned in towards the sticks, and it bounces across the fence. It's a one-on-one contest. Picked up, swinging around on a sixpence, but finding a good handball. That one was deflected in front. France desperately trying to get it out here, and it is a free kick, and it will go the way of France. And once again, Colombia putting the pressure on, but not coming through there, committing a free kick or giving away a free kick. Goes out to the near side. It's going to get picked up by Leandra Camus. Camus with the football now, and umpire just kind of moving everybody around here. Moving everybody on the mark. Plays that one on to the left, coming up, and that one bounces away. And bounces away towards the boundary line out of bounds. It was touched, so it'll be a boundary throw-in about 55 meters around. Payable app scoreboard, Colombia, I was going to call them Colorado. Colombia, 3-4-22. France, one behind here at the 2024 AFL Transatlantic Cup from Toronto, brought to you by Payable Apps.
And they're helping sports teams simplify fee collection through their Google add-ons, payableapps.com. As the ball is thrown back into play, trying to run away with was Jassal, but the umpire says there was an infringement in the ruck contest. And it will be going the way of the French, and they'll have the opportunity to go off the half-back line and go up the line. Little nudge in the back then, and the umpire has spotted it. And no, let's see what's happened. Yeah, the Colombian player thinks she's got the football, but she gave it away for the little hands in the back against Garcia. So Catherine Garcia for the French is looking to come inboard with her kick. Pinpoints it perfectly to Fanny Michon. Michon going 20 metres up the line, works out okay. Good strong mark being taken there. Audrey with the football on the right boot towards the half-forward flank position in front of our eThere Live broadcast position. Couldn't quite get to Camus. Coming in to lay the tackle, Garcia. Gionigon. Being caught with the football, Palacio. And Garcia will have the free kick for the French. And she finds it on centre wing in front of our broadcast position. Looking further ahead for some options. France still looking for their first goal of this tournament. They trail by 21 points. Here's Brian Barish.
Gaultier with the football right in front of Peter Holden and yours truly as this one is kicked in towards. Nice mark taken. And Janine has been impressive so far in a trailing effort, but still plenty of time to go. 10 minutes, third quarter remaining as this one is sent in. This one goes up high. Nice mark defensively. And that ends that. So now Colombia will try to shake the Etch-a-Sketch and draw up something new. She is right there on the, she is not moving, and they need to tell her to move back. Still got a good kick away and did it well to Yasmin Benavides, who is the elder stateswoman of this team, having been an original member of the Bogota Bulldogs. Played that one into the middle, and she dropped the pill.
No, it was knocked out of her hand.
Yeah.
50-meter penalty downfield for Gutierrez.
And we've talked about, Colombia making mistakes, but now we're starting to see France as well, and so it will be Gutierrez who takes the mark.
Gutierrez going further down the field. She is looking for some options at 55 metres out from goal. Too far out to score. No lead on. Just going to throw it on the boot towards the top of the goal square. Came off hands, trying to fight for it. Sarah Rodriguez couldn't get the football out. Umpire is circling, blows the whistle and says, I'll have the football back, please. Go for a ball up 20 metres out.
Payable app scoreboard score check. We have Columbia 3-3-21. France 1 behind. 3-3-21 to 1 behind.
And now you can change that.
So now it is 3-4-22 to 1 behind. So there you go. It all works out in the end, mate. And, Colombia really putting the pressure on, and that's the thing. I think France really kind of struggling to cope with it, and Colombia's athleticism really showing them to the fore here.
As we wait for the ball to be brought back in by Fillet, who goes for a run, then kicks it outside the 50. That is a beautiful kick and a beautiful mark on the halfback flank. Just looking around for some options. The umpire tells the Colombian player to clear out of the way. Just throwing it on the boot there. Simino goes out towards the centre wing in front of the scoreboard, which is normally there for the AFL Ontario competition. Swinging by to pick it up there. Ustarachi for the Colombians. Gets it towards the half-forward flank position. Pack of half a dozen. And they'll just throw it on the left boot. Sky high. Trying to get in there. Ceballos had to wait for the bounce. Does so. Pushes off a player. Throws it on the right boot. Comes inside 50 with the kick. Couldn't quite hang it onto it as Carolina's spinner. Umpire blows the whistle and results with a free kick to the Colombians. And let's see if they give it to a spinner or not. A little bit of handballing around and decision-making. It will go to a spinner, as originally first thought. She's about 35 metres out, 45-degree angle, looking for Colombia's fourth goal of this AFL Transatlantic Cup match. Puts it on the right boot. Sharp kick will only go about 35 metres. The lay was there, came off her hands. Crash of bodies. Close towards the boundary line, still managing to stay in, close to the point line. Gutierrez is watching on. Umpire's pulled out a free kick, going the way of the French, and I think it might end up in the hands of Giselle. Let's see who wins the raffle out of this one.
Who pulls the winning number. That's about, I want to say, Pete, about the 10th time we've seen Colombia give away a free kick in the offensive goal square. And again, they need to clean that up as they go up on the far side here. And again, going to pick that one up. Able to break away from one tackle, but not the second. Kick was affected up high. Off the hands there of Lady Calderon. We have a whistle, and it'll be a free kick. And once again, so it seems like France is giving them away at the edge of the 50-meter arc, but once they get in towards the goal square, it's been Colombia that's been giving them away. And I mean, you kind of shudder, not shudder to think, but how much more this lead could be if they were a little bit more disciplined in front. Either way, the kick's going to come from 45 meters out, and that one is batted out and will go out of bounds for a boundary throw. And we saw earlier on that kick by Ospina, if you've never, learning how to kick in Aussie rules football is very much a skill that you have to practice over and over again. And we saw her arms were held out as stiff as could be. She needs to be a little bit more relaxed, hold closer to in, and focus on getting the drops straight down, and that's why she had trouble with the kick.
Barry did the ruck work there for the French. Umpire says no proper opportunities. And one thing I'm seeing from the Colombians, and they might watch back with the video, is when they're having their, shot on goals from 45 that are falling short, no one's kind of leading in to make a short lead to take a mark at 25 out. They're going to the goal square instead of trying to open up some space to try and run into the ball rather than kicking to a pack. So it's just a few little things they've got to work on there. As the umpire blows the whistle again, we're close towards the boundary line. In fact, one of the French players is down and they're calling straight away for a trainer. In fact, it's a Colombian player, pardon me. I just saw red there for a moment. It's number 4, Marina Ceballos. And they're going to stop play for a moment. We do know there is one French player at the moment who has her knee strapped up and won't be taking any further part in this game. That's Olaine Licaaro. So she is out. I'm not sure for the tournament, but at least for the game, she's got the tape all around her right knee. So that is a concern. Let's just hope more than anything it's just a bit of bruising and that she'll be able to return to the tournament.
Yeah, especially judging by her reaction. We were seeing her over here, and she looked a little shaken up by that. But yeah, I mean, that's going to be one of these things. I mean, when you think about it in Australia, even at the local level, they only play one full game a week, and these players are being asked to essentially play 5 full games in 9 days. And so this is going to be very, very much a question of who is the fittest team, and perhaps maybe a little bit luck with the injury bug. I mean, there's going to be a lot in play here as this tournament goes on.
Marina Ceballos is the player down, and they're just looking on her lower leg. Let's just hope it's not another knee, because it is, I don't know, some people call it spongy ground, some think it's a firm ground. I guess it depends on where you come from, but it's not like some of the bowling greens that we've almost been on when we've called some USAFL national tournaments that are more used for soccer venues, where they're almost clean as a carpet. And here, just a little bit rough, but it is a traditional Aussie rules field. In fact, it is the only permanent full-time Aussie rules field in North America, and used by the AFL Ontario competition, and also various tournaments such as the 49th Parallel Cup, and also used for the AFL Canada Cup.
While we have a moment here, we'll catch you up on the scores from the other 2 games today. Earlier today, the first game of the day was the Irish Banshees defeating the USA Freedom by 24 points. 7-14-56 for Ireland, 5-2-32 for the U.S., but they did come from behind and outkicked Ireland 4-0 in that final term to equilibrate things just a little bit. And in the last game that we had here, Great Britain, perhaps a little bit, I mean, if you look at the recent form over the last few years, maybe considered an upset, but they look the goods. They edged out Canada in the last couple of minutes by a single point. Great Britain 3-3-21 over Canada 3-2-20.
Now, Marina Ceballos ended up being helped from the ground, direct, not through the interchange bench, because they're obviously concerned about her knee, and taking her straight under the shaded tree, which means she cannot come back on for the rest of the game. Even if she went to go, I'm 100% fine, because she doesn't go through the interchange gates. That means the player that has now come on means that she is ruled out for the remainder of the game. But as we said, even if it's only a knee knock or something like that, there's the rest of the tournament to go. So let's just think safety first and safety ahead for her. And as we said, Colombia only bringing 27 players, the French only 26. So if injuries do bite, I personally wouldn't be surprised if we get to the consolation matches, we might see a few local top-ups used.
Or perhaps if they end up playing 16 aside. We're underway once again, 5:10 to go, third term, 21 points the lead Colombia, and we're trying to get some more as the ball comes across the face, and there again is Tilley, who is doing a decent job in the back line. All things told, she's playing very well as she was taken down from behind, and it will be a free kick going the way they're going to play on quickly. What on earth is happening here? She's going to run in, and doing, it was a Wilbur post.
Hello, Wilbur.
And what's happened here? Oh, that's what it is. It's a signal. I didn't know that was the signal, the hitting the hand. But
not supposed to be, but...
I guess that's what it is. But in any event, it is another point on the Payable app scoreboard. Colombia go to 3-5-23. France 1 behind. And I don't know what exactly happened there. The French defender just... I don't know if she gave up or what happened, or she was confused, but very lucky that they didn't get a goal out of that.
Yeah, it's happened 1 or 2 times this game so far, because the French are not used to playing 8 aside. They're confused which direction they're going when they get up from a tackle and they're given a free kick. Nonetheless, the French find themselves in the back 50 once again and got to try and find a way to get out of trouble. As a big tackle is laid on, what a fantastic rundown, and that one's by Yasmin Benavides, and she's going to have an opportunity to have a shot at goal. And from the distance I'm looking at, probably about 30 to 35 metres out on a almost 45-degree angle. Benavides to see if she can stretch the margin. It's currently at 22 points the difference. Comes off hands, out the back, and they throw it on the boot. It's a mad scramble at the last second. Here's the quick, hurried little hand pass. Gave it off there to Diaz. Goal! Goal!
Wow.
Laura Diaz, quick thinking there from the Colombians. And they go to 4-5-29 France 1 behind with just a little over 3 minutes remaining in the third term for Payable apps.
That's the second time, Peter, we've seen the Colombian forwards make something out of nothing. We saw it here on the other side in the last term, and it is a loose ball in front, all sorts of chaos ball, and Laura Diaz doing a fantastic job of picking it up in front, cool as you like, just throwing it on the boot and slotting it through. And that really shows me a lot, because a lot of times there's that panic and sometimes the skills come off. That hasn't happened, as we said. 2 goals in a row where that's been the case, and they add to the scoreboard. My goodness gracious. Well, we see a signal here. I think they're telling them to get out of the square once again. And we mentioned the interchange gauge, by the way, Peter. If you're not familiar with Aussie rules football, each team only has a designated area where their players can enter or leave, and it is near the benches. In fact, if you see it on our camera, you'll notice that there are 2 green cones. I was going to say, which they're like pylons. That is marks on the field where they are, so you can kind of see them from our camera position. We're just waiting for, I think, the 666 possibly, as they're scrambling players, France in and out. The umpire's ready. We toss it. We're underway again with 2 minutes to go. Headed out of the middle there by the ruck in Vilma, as this one is headed on. Going to go. And here comes Colombia now. Throws that one onto the right foot. Drops in front off the arms. Going to pop high in the air. Running through that like a house on fire was Murillo. Murillo again. It's going to get picked up. Throws that one onto the right. Looking for a forward, but a good job by the defense. And once again, France will have a chance to clear with about 90 seconds to go.
And the Colombians might pick this off. It wasn't the full 15. And the umpire says, I'll take the football back. Is getting in there is Paris at the last moment for the French. And they will call for the ball up. And that's what they do inside the forward 50 here for the Colombians. Tackle laid on, but the ball managed to get squeezed out for Yanin. Yanin goes for a run, takes a bounce, takes him on Yanin. Might take another bounce. Yanin lost control of the football, got it back. Spectacular play. Hand passes it inside her forward 50, and the umpire says unfairly dealt with. French free kick, and they'll have it 45 metres out from goal, directly in front. So an opportunity perhaps with under a minute remaining for the French to score their first goal of the 2024 AFL Transatlantic Cup and their first goal in international 18-a-side for women. As a little short kick being taken there by Pignidi. It didn't go too far, just went to a pack, 30 metres out from goal. And Colombia will relieve the pressure. Watching on there, wanting to try and pick up the football. Jimenez, and the umpire blows the whistle and says, I'll take the football back, please, and we'll ball it up 40 metres out from the French goal, going to the Mississauga end of the ground, and you should go to the website, visit mississauga.ca.
And you know what, France probably a little unlucky. That's their best passage of play. Unlucky to not get a goal out of that, or anything out of that, as the siren goes, and I believe, I thought maybe we saw a signal for, we did see a signal for a free kick, or did we?
Yes, a free kick on the siren. So, remember, she cannot play on. She must go directly. And if the player on the mark jumps over the mark while she's having the shot, you can have a 50-metre penalty.
Here we go. This will be the last say of it. The kick is up on the way. It has the distance, but it was marked in front, and that won't matter, and that'll do it for the third term. So, 3 quarters in the books here in Etobicoke, Toronto. The score, it's the Colombia Jaguares. 4 goals, 5 behinds, 29 points. Les Gauloises de la France, 1 behind.
And, Brian, as we said, maybe the score should be a little bigger for Colombia because there's so many times they had it on their forward 10 metres, you could call that, just couldn't find the last kick to get it through the big sticks. They've just been pressuring and pressuring and pressuring. The French defence at the moment, as we said, they're under siege. Delay has been back there trying to get things going, trying to find someone to work with. Excluding that last-minute move of the ball by Yanin up the middle of the ground, this is probably the only time that we've seen something from the French, and it was encouraging. It's like, if people can take her lead, the French, and start running up the ground, you can try and open this game up.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that that's the first time we've seen them really, really take off and bring the play to the Colombians. Those 2 bounces, I mean, and the 3 bounces, even though the last one didn't come off, I mean, that is probably the most vitalic we've seen them in the course of this game.
If I'm the French coach, Jason Quinn, I'm showing that back tonight to the squad, saying, you see that? When you see some space, we've got to take the game on. We've got to gamble. We've got to create something instead of the same old kick it up the line, have a mark or have it spoiled. Try and take a risk. We'll take this opportunity to take a break here at the 2024 AFL Transatlantic Cup at Colonel Samuel Smith Park in Toronto, where at the moment it is Colombia leading France.
Great news, sports teams. Google Forms now accepts payments. The Payable Forms add-on allows for seamless integration of a digital checkout with your Google Forms. Setup is easy. Install the Payable Forms add-on. Link your payment provider, share, and get paid. Players can use Apple Pay, Google Pay, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Discover, Cash App, Venmo, and more, streamlining the process for them, all while you stay organized with real-time updates. Registrations, uniforms, races, sponsorship, clinics, coaching, training, and classes. Keep it simple with Payable Forms.
At Colonel Samuel Smith Park at Humber College, Etobicoke, Toronto, Canada. This is the 2024 AFL Transatlantic Cup, thanks to Payable apps. Peter Holden and Brian Barish with you. And at three-quarter time, it is the Colombians leading the French women 4-5, 29 to 1 behind. Earlier today was victories to Ireland over the USA and Great Britain in a one-point thriller over Canada. Coming up tomorrow at 9:30 a.m., we have three men's matches in a row. We begin with Ireland versus Colombia at 11:45, USA versus France, then capping things off at 2 p.m., Canada versus Great Britain. We're not too far away from beginning this final term. The Colombians will be going to the right of your screen, which is the Mississauga end, and they are a tournament hotel and transit partner with hundreds of must-see experiences, plenty of gorgeous scenery, world-class eats and events. Mississauga is yours to explore. Visit Mississauga.ca. Here's Brian Barish.
Thank you very much. And, of course, the other team kicking towards the Toronto City end, Toronto. We're just Toronto. As the ball gets underway, we get a start. We were waiting for one last, again, I think we're just waiting on the players to get into position. Umpire Di Filand is ready, and so are we. Quarter number 4, the last quarter of the day is underway. Colombia leading by 28 points, and we have a whistle right off the bat, and it is a free kick going the way of Les Gaulois. So here we go. Let's see if they can get something going here. Throwing it onto the boot off the free kick was Amin, and now it ricochets all the way back, and there's a kick going forward, pushing it forward and going after it. There is Romero. She looks for a teammate, tries to handball it in. Getting ripped off the ball was Laura Garcia, and then dogpile on the rabbit. Umpire crosses himself, and we'll have a ball up. It'll occur about 50 meters out. Just underway, third quarter. Final of the 17.5-minute terms. We go back to full 20-minute quarters for the men tomorrow. As the ball gets knocked down, ball gets picked up on the near side. Player gets taken down, and it's going to get called. As being taken down behind the play was Liseth Calderon. So it'll be a free kick for them about 60 meters out for Los Jaguares.
So Corderon looking forward for some options, being told go to the hotspot, 30 metres out from goal. That's the target. I'd like to actually see someone lead to a vacant pocket to try and, practice hitting up some targets so they've got their lead. But she did hit a target in the end, and just flying across to take it is Vanessa Geraldo with the football at about 35 metres out. Bit of a breeze about. It's probably blowing, I'd say, left to right from where she's kicking. Let's see if she can put on the 5th goal for Colombia on the scoreboard for Payable apps. Geraldo for Colombia. Left boot and off the side of the boot. I think she would like to take that kick back again, but she won't be able to. The French will come away with it. A little tap on the ground. They hear the footsteps are coming, and the kick was trying to find in the direction of Simino. Simino is just waiting for the ball to come out the outside of the pack, but it'll be a Colombian ball because it was kicked away on that occasion by Laura Diaz. Went to centre half forward. Mark Pade.
And she'll have it in the middle of the ground. Thought about playing on. Now waits. Diaz plays this one up to the far side, into the middle of the ground, looking inside the 50-meter arc, bounces away. Everybody fighting for the football. In there was Grosellier, and able to get it now. Colombia, there's a shot for a goal. It's going across, and it will stay in play. It's a one-on-one contest. She kicks it back into the field of play, and it goes off the foot of the player there in Natalia Leon. Should have picked that up. I think she was trying to give some of her teammates an opportunity. But as we look, Pete, you and I could sit out on that pocket and call the game and not be in any sort of danger. So we'll have a boundary throw-in upcoming. It'll come about 20 meters around or so. Umpire spins the ball back into the oval here at Sam Smith Park. Colonel Sam Smith Park, beg your pardon, Colonel, as the ball goes down. You don't want to make Colonel Smith mad, and you don't want to make General So mad. Those are the two people you don't want to anger, and we'll have a chance of fun.
No, there's a third, Colonel Sanders. I don't want to make him sound. I still want my KFC friend. Yeah. as we wait for the ball up inside the forward pocket here for Colombia. Going up in the ruck contest for the French is Paris, close towards the boundary line, and she will see the ball over and out. So we'll throw it in 25 metres around from the right-hand point post. We have 14 minutes to play here in Game 3, Day 1 of this tournament, going for 10 days. And remember, entry is free, so if you do have some friends in Toronto, Canada, or within driving distance, suggest they come on down to Colonel Samuel Smith Park to check out this fantastic tournament of Aussie rules football. Umpire blowing the whistle, Di Fireland, saying there's a free kick, and it's going the way of the Aguares. And let's see who's going to end up with the football out of this. There's a little bit of explanation about what's going on, and I think it might be... We don't have the advantage of a replay, but I do know she's giving some hand gestures. I don't think it's a case of, now this is how you put the parmesan on the pasta. I think that's not happening.
So here they're called Timbits.
It might be a case of what's happened with the ball-in contest, maybe taking it out of the ruck and being caught with the ball straight away. We don't have the benefit of the replay at the moment at this stage of the tournament. But
and we don't have a mic on either one of them in this game.
We'll tell you tomorrow when we have a chat to Di Fireland after the game. Having a shot at goal and putting it high in the air is Lady Corderon. And on the last line again, the French managed to come out of problems. And as soon as I say that, commentator's curse, taking a mark, is Yasmin Benavides. And she finds herself directly in front of goal. She's about 32.5 metres out. Benavides throws it onto the boot, more than places it. Almost falcons someone on the way through. Right at the top of the goal square. It's a shot. Is it touched? Yes, touched off hands. One behind. 4:6:30, Colombia. One behind is the French. 12.5 minutes remaining in the final quarter for Payable apps.
There's a one-finger discount there. Instead of 6, you only get 1. So, and somebody in there was playing Soviet rules football. In Soviet Russia, football kicks you as the ball goes up on the far side now. And here they come. So France again and Colombia again. They have not let their foot off the pedal. This is really good to see. We know that fitness, it doesn't appear that fitness is going to be an issue with them. So that, I think, is going to show notice to the other two teams, especially Ireland. We saw them fade in the fourth quarter a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see once we get to that matchup. We're starting to kind of, the appetite is starting to get wet, get more interesting as we see this team and we see them go up against the other two sides as well. As we wait for play to resume up on that far side. And the ball goes high up in the air once again. As the ball gets knocked down, Up on the far side. Oh, she took her down backwards and holding the ball. Good tackle in there by, I believe, that was Vilma who took it. The 1s and the 7s look very similar. And we will have a free kick.
So on the Lake Ontario side of the ground here at Colonel Samuel Smith Park, as we said, it's crucial for Colombia not only just to win this game, but if they can set up a big margin at the end, it will help their percentage when it gets to the business end of Pool A for the top 2 teams that will go through to the semi-final stage. Umpire blows the whistle, and once again we'll call for the ball up. And I think Duku was on the bottom of the pack then. We'll give the ball back to the umpire. Looks around for the nominating rucks, and we throw it up in the air, and away we go again. Duku brought the football to ground. They wanted to go with soccer skills there for a moment. I think it might be Gutierrez in there, and the umpire blows the whistle and says, I'll take the football back, please. And once again, we'll have another ball up in front of the AFLOntario.com scoreboard. As he gets thrown down. Trying to get in there and get on the end of the football was Yanin. And the umpire says, yes, a free kick to the French for that tackle. Yanin has it, and she finds herself defensive side of centre wing. Again, the French still looking for their first goal in an 18-a-side tournament for their women's team. We'll just dance to the left, dance to the right, tap the football on the ground, go with a quick hand pass. It was a hot potato job there to Duku. Duku now goes towards the half-forward flank position. Bounced off a chest. Lurking around there is Mary for the French. Can't get the football. It is a Colombian ball only momentarily. It just got picked off in the end. Thanks for coming through. Ouvry, who now moves the ball inside 50. And the French, though, find the ball almost bouncing out of their forward 50. They're second in a foot race here. And going to ground and getting back up there, Palacio. Lost control of it. But they managed to gain about 10 metres as they come in towards the centre square. Going in to lay the tackle again, Duku, the captain of the French, and holding the football. Will get a resulting free kick, and she finds herself about 65 metres out from the big sticks.
9.5 to go in the ball game. France still looking
Could
for
be
their
a 50.
first.
It's a 50. Oh, this is a chance for the first French goal.
And here is Duku, who now moves inside the 50-meter arc. Let's see where this is going to end up being.
And what happened, Brian, there was 2 players on the mark when you only allowed 1, and the second player didn't clear out of the way, and that's why the resulting free kick is being paid. And they've only paid a 25, not a 50.
Oh, that's curious. And here's the thing. We don't have the stand. The stand rule is not in effect if you watch AFL or AFLW. So, irrespective of that, Duku drives this kick towards the goal, but it just went short. And in fact, it looks like they've conceded the behind, and they have first score in a while for Les Gauloises as they go to 2 points. Colombia. Well, let's double check here. Hang on. Did they wait?
They waved the flag. They definitely waved the flag.
2 points, place 30.
So what happens is a 50-metre penalty being paid out of this. Let me explain. If you've got 25s or 50s, here's something that doesn't matter. If the player that's kicking the ball out from full-back and the player on the mark watching the ball from full-back doesn't stand in the correct spot, instead of paying a 50, they actually march you to the back of the centre square by rule.
Right. Out to the near side now as it's going to get picked up. 2-on-2 contest. Oh, gosh, she got shoved down from behind there by Dula Kuma. Let's try that again. Dula Kumuna out to the far side now as this one is taken down. Going to get picked up. A chance in front. Once again, they're congregating around the front. Colombia taken down. A shot off the side. Is that there? Yes, it is. Gualteros finally gets her first goal. Put that down as a possible Payable apps goal of the tournament. Fading away off her left foot. And Colombia are kicking their way home. They go to 5-6-36 on the Payable apps scoreboard. France 2 behinds, and that may put the cherry on top of the delicious sundae that is this game. And I won't say delicious anymore because I'm not Bruce McAvaney.
Let me just tell you one thing. The commentators in Umpire's Hotel, I think, might be something like a K or 2 down the road from where the Colombians might be staying. We might hear their party from here. Yeah. I've got a feeling the Colombians will be having a very big party tonight to celebrate not only their debut, but their first ever win at international level.
Party loud, but party quick because you need to take the day off and get ready for the next game, which is Sunday. They play the sandwich game the beginning game against Great Britain.
So, The umpire has the football back in the middle of the ground, making sure everyone's lined up in the 666, and I think a lot of players are slowly getting back to their position. They're stuffed because it is very humid weather that we have been playing in today, and been humid weather in Toronto the last few days. But as I say that, a cool breeze is starting to blow through, which I think is a relief to a lot of people, players, officials, and commentators alike. And also, I think for our camera crew, a higher perched scissor lift, bringing you all the action via the AFL Canada YouTube channel. And thanks to the great people at eThere Live, exclusive broadcast partner of the Transatlantic Cup, eThereLive.com.
Yeah, and one of many sponsors that have brought this tournament to you. And we are set to go once again with 6 minutes and 20 seconds to go, Pete.
Jarsail is going to do the ruck work here for the French. Umpire making sure everything is in place and they can get going because the clock is ticking. 6 minutes to go. The umpire was almost going to hold it off for the siren. It's like, no, buddy, we're waiting on you. Let's extract the digit as Jarsail moved the football. Now, Gutierrez kicked it forward to advantage, coming in to run down. Coming down, Balacio was a little too high on her opponent. And it will be a free kick going the way of Emily Grisella, wearing the Richie Benno 22. It now goes towards the half-back flank position, trying to spot up Gautier. Umpire says that'll be a free kick for a trip. And it is going the way of... let's have a look. He's pointing in every direction like a traffic cop to Colombia. Just wants to pick it to the correct player. Or is he pointing in the wrong direction? No, he's pointing in the right way. We're having a dare I say, Roy Orbison communication breakdown. As
I thought that was Led Zeppelin.
We'll have to test our music knowledge. as the ball is marked there, taken by Yanin. This is Daggy Dag humour, folks. He's the dad. I'm just Daggy. As it's taken away by Yanin. As we'll get going. The umpire says, you can get on the mark and kick it. Just,
yes, no. It's like Bartle and Hooch in the League of Their Own.
Yeah. Who's on first? And now kicks the football long towards the half-forward flank position. It will be intercepted. So a chance for the Colombians now to come up the wing on the broadcast side. They kick it high in the Palacio direction, and a player reaching over her shoulder. So even it wasn't the mark, would have got one for a high free kick. Goes back behind the player on the mark, Palacio. Now gets on the right. Goes sky high with the football. Came off hands. Little scrap on here. Managing to spin around, but then get caught is Yanin. And the umpire says holding the football. And it will be going the way of the Colombians. And once again, it's Gutierrez, the player who played with the Darabin women's side for 5 months in Australia, courtesy of an Orica sponsorship.
Well, we had Richie Benno earlier. Well, now she's handing the ball back to Di Filan. And, is it?
I think she said there was a confusion on whether it should have been paid or not, so she might be calling for a ball up.
Yeah.
So, when in doubt, throw it up.
Yeah, pretty much. It also that also goes for some people's cooking. For my Aunt Becky's cookies, as the ball comes back, we'll have those later in the game. But right now, up on the near side once again, as she's taken down. I was going to say we have Richie Benno, we had Tony Gregg. All we need is Bill Laurie. Yes, got him. And then we're all good.
I think there's a lot of Americans and Europeans going, what on earth are you talking about?
This is for you, Australia, as the ball comes up in the middle of the ground. Listen to the 12th man. That's great. Out to the near side now, going after to get it and trying to pick that one up. We have a whistle, and it's a free kick going the way of France. Les Gaulois now with the footy directly in front of us in the personage of Gautier. Catherine Gautier with the football. Gautier, as this one is thrown onto the right. This one goes into the middle of the ground. And this one is sent back the way it comes. It's a worm-burning, finger-breaking kick. It kills a lot of us. Picking that one up is, and putting it first is Galteros. Galteros is on fire, sending this one in off the pants. And this one is going to get put out it's kept in play as everybody is in knots, including my tongue, as the ball goes in ground. Ball gets knocked down. Player gets knocked over. A little cheeky kick for a goal. Quick kick by Murillo, who has one of the goals in this game. A chance across the face, kept in play. And then a handball across the way in front. And I think that was touched on the way through. And there's a lot of kicks and hands and all sorts of stuff. Once again, Colombia has the ball on the doorstep, sending that across the face. And it goes through. And what's going to happen here? It is going to go through 4 behind. They are celebrating. but that was chaos ball in front, full of sound and fury, only 1 point. 5-7-37 Colombia. They're home with a little more than 2 minutes to play. France 2 behind. Payable app scoreboard.
Here at the AFL Transatlantic Cup, this is day one of women's competition. Umpire has blown the whistle. Let's see what it was for. It's for a mark being paid to the French in the back pocket, or are they sending it back towards full back? There's a lot of pointing and gesticulation, and I think they're signalling 50-metre penalty. So what had happened again, I think it was a situation of the player on the mark when there was a kick-in happening wasn't in correct position. So again, you won't get a 50-metre or 25-metre penalty. You actually get taken to the back of the centre square. That only happens for kick-ins from behinds. So the French are like, have we got the ball? Is this our ball? You mean we're being marched this far up the ground? Yes. That's what happens in 18-a-side football. And she has it now, and she'll elect to go towards the other side, but she's got Giselle and Galtia on. Giselle had it momentarily, got knocked away from her. Gracella was there, and that was a throw and a half. And the umpire was blindsided by what Camus did. That was a fair dinkum rugby throw. And if you can get away with it, remember, it's not illegal if you don't get caught. As the ball is now towards the half-forward flank position. Taking a bounce is Yanin again. Yanin wants to take the game on. Yanin thinks about another bounce. Dances around the player, got the hand pass. No, the umpire said you were gone this time. Holding the football. Manon Yanin caught, and again, as we said, she's playing Aussie rules at the moment in Bali.
Yeah, for the Geckos.
Well, not at this remote. She's obviously here, but yes.
Yeah, right now, I was going to say, that's a hell of a talent to be able to play in 2 continents at once. The free kick taken, and the mark is taken. Meanwhile, with 30 seconds to go, Colombia is going to get a famous victory here on debut, or on debut, as y'all say down south, as they kick it out to the near side, bounces in front. It'll roll, it'll skip, it'll hop, it'll wait for the one player there who picks that one up, gets thrown around. Kick goes into the middle of the ground, off the hands there of Pineda, who couldn't get to it. Now 10 seconds to go. Colombia is going to win as the ball is taken. Here they have it in the middle of the ground as the seconds tick away. And she will take her time. The siren is imminent. And there it is. And Las Jaguares have won in their first ever international game of Australian rules football. Colombia are the victors, and they have done so in impressive fashion over Les Gaulois de la France by 35 points. The final score, Colombia, 5 goals, 7 behinds, 37 points. France, 2 behinds, 2 points only, and they are celebrating in the middle of the ground. The men's team, who will make their debut tomorrow, are happy as Larry, however happy he is. Congratulations to them. And, we haven't name-dropped Josh Kennedy yet. the former Sydney Swan star who has gone on to coach both teams. I think their tactics look really, really good today. We mentioned their talent. There's a lot of there's a
number of rugby players,
a lot of rugby players. They've very impressed. Now we'll see how they do. They've got Great Britain and Ireland coming up. I think that's a step up over this French team. We'll see how they go. But irrespective of what happens in the next 10 days, they have their victory.
We'll get to you very shortly for our Powerwood MVP. Custom cedar supplies done right. Cedar supplies based in Western Canada, powerwood.com. But I do want to give you a tournament standing for Vision Glass Toronto. Vision Glass tournament standings, locations in Richmond Hill, Thornhill, Woodbridge and Vaughan, specialising in auto glass services. VisionGlassToronto.com. At the moment in Pool A, the Americas pool, Colombia sit on top of the pool, the only Americas team with a win. Canada sits second, the USA sit third. In Pool B, it is Ireland sitting atop of the table on percentage from Great Britain in second and France third. But all sides still have 2 remaining games in pool play. Again, the Americas teams are playing the European teams. The European teams are playing the Americas teams. So let's get to our Powerwood game MVP. Brian Barris, it's on you.
It will be for the Colombians, number 43, Stefania Gualteros, who kicked 1 of the 5 goals in this game and really was the the spark that made the engine go from the middle of the ground. We saw here in the fourth quarter, still full of run, taking on the game and really helping to lead Colombia to this famous victory. I want to point out something we just saw right here. Mariana Ceballos, who was injured earlier in the game, they carried her on to the field to be a part. I think that's Jason Becker from the U.S. contingent who made that help. Great to see, and like you said, they will party. They can't party for too long because they have another game in about 48 hours' time.
And let's have a look at the goal kickers for today's match. Brian Barish, it's all singles for the Colombians.
Yep, Valentina Rodriguez, Andrea Murillo, Laura Diaz, Camila Rubiano, and Gualteros, as we mentioned before. 5 singletons. I don't think we had anybody kick more than 2 goals today, so the winner of the Golden Boot is still very much up for grabs after one game.
And if you go to the AFL Canada YouTube page throughout the next 9 days, you're going to see a lot more men's and women's football. Tomorrow it is the men's turn, 9:30 a.m. Toronto local time, Ireland versus Colombia, 11:45 a.m. the USA versus France, and 2 p.m. Canada versus Great Britain. The women return on Sunday from 10 a.m. Brian Barish, thank you very much for your company this afternoon.
And to you as well, and thanks to everybody for joining us, and also thanks to Pat and Dave for their help as well.
Indeed, I'm Peter Holden on behalf of the production team at eThere Live. Thank you very much for joining us on day 1 of the competition. An historic day for Colombia, defeating the French 5-7-37 to 2 behinds, Colombia's first ever win in women's international Australian football. Until tomorrow, it's bye for now.